Hello everybody. This is the first time I'm actually gonna do one of these live reviews. I asked Grace last night if it was okay with if I did this, and it's based on the If I Break series by Portia. Fantastic read. Okay. So where do I begin? The good news or the bad news? Good news, as I just mentioned, it was a great read. It was a plot or storyline that was that I actually read before last year. No spoilers here. And this was published before that previous book that I read, so kind of weird. But this is a story. This is a series. The previous book that sort of has the same storyline is a standalone. Like I said, I'm not getting into spoilers, but I can begin with Cal. Cal is a very, what's the word, distraught character. There are many things that go on with Cal that you want to pay attention, and lots of surprises with this character. There's Lauren. This is the girl that of course, the heroine, the girl that Cal falls in love with. She's smart. She's she's independent, but she's also easily targeted by Cal. It's sort of like he's an alpha male, and she falls for anything that Cal wants her to do, sort of like, demands of her. I couldn't feel anything different than hurt. A lot of hurt for Lauren. Lots of hurt for Lauren. I felt pain for her, and I felt it with her. It's very sad what she has to go through and what she has to deal with. And it's with everybody in the story. It's not just with herself. It's with everybody in the story. Lauren has a lot of struggles. She's in love, and love makes us do crazy things. So the story is very complicated. There's a few twists, and it wasn't until I got to book 3 that I was not happy with one last twist that the author threw in, and it was because I feel personally that I can't have something thrown at me in the last 10% of a book when you have 10% left to read, and to me, you're not going to answer everything that I still want answered. You're not going to give me everything there in that last 10%, especially when you throw in such a big twist like that. It's angsty. There's tons of angst in this series. I really recommend it. I recommend it if you want to read from a new author. I'm always picking up new authors. This is my first series. And look, I finished the series when I just said I was only going to read the first book, but I needed to finish. I really needed to finish. This is my first series by Portia. Will I be reading more from her? I hope so. I really wish, and this is just my personal opinion. Everybody who knows me knows that I give my opinion. Does not mean that it's the same feeling that you're gonna have towards how I felt. I really feel like I would have cut it down to maybe 2 in the novella instead of that third one. But there were a lot of things answered in the third book, and you also get different POVs, both from the male and the female characters. And that's about as much as I can say. It was great. It flowed fine, except some repetition things. But like I said, you get multiple POVs, and things that happen in the first book that were not explained, you do later on get on that character's POV later on in book 2 and book 3. Side characters like his parents and her aunt and best friends, wonderful, and I hope we see them later on down the line somewhere, because I think they also have very they have their own secrets, and I feel like the author can give us some good stories from those other characters, especially 2 of them. I'm very interested in knowing. I would like to know more what happens to these characters that Lauren and Cal. I still feel like I needed more. I needed answers to how they dealt with everything. I'm hoping that in the following, there was a mention at towards the end of the book, the third book, there was a mention of two characters giving a story. I'm hoping that we get that from in those two books, in something from those two books, that we can get something more of the two main characters in the If I Break series. I just need more. I needed more. It was really. I think I could have given it a 5 star. Also, um, there was some really bad grammar, and I'm not the brightest bulb in the tree, but if I can detect those problems and those grammar errors, then that means that there was a little bit of a bad job done there with the editing. Minor. I think you guys should give it a chance. It might blow your minds. Book one is my favorite. I'm gonna hold it to where I loved everything that happened in the first book. I did enjoy the second book. The third book was probably the least of my favorites, but it's because there's so much information. Something that's going on in the story really needs to be explained. The author went there and beyond explaining what this situation is. So, once again, Portia, thank you for these lovely words, this great story. I could never forget that first book. It was so heartbreaking. I felt it. It was so emotional. I want to continue reading these amazing stories from you. I feel like it wasn't all HEA with you. I felt the raw part of a relationship, of family, and what family goes through when someone in the family has a problem, especially a problem like you have written about in this series. So thank you very much, and everybody, happy readings.